Good morning, everyone. In the last session of data warehousing and data mining course, we saw about the multi-dimensional data model. The data warehouse can be viewed as a multi-dimensional data model or a data cube. So the data cube is defined using dimensions and fact. Each record is defined by various dimensions. Suppose we have a sales data warehouse. There can be dimensions such as item, branch, location, time, etc. Now, facts are entities which relates the dimensions. For example, for the sales data warehouse, we can have fact as the total sales amount or total number of items sold. Now, a group of cuboids at different levels of summarization forms the data cube. The cuboid at the highest level of summarization is called the apex cuboid, which will be zero dimensional. And the cuboid at the lowest level of summarization is called as the base cuboid. With this, let us start today's session. So today we are going to see about data warehouse modeling, that is schemas for multi-dimensional data model. Also, we will be seeing about concept hierarchies. So data warehouse modeling or schemas comes in three varieties, that is star schema, snowflake schema, and fact constellation. So first let's see star schema. So as the name suggests, star schema has a structure of a star. So in star, the center will be the fact table, and this fact table will be connected to multiple dimension tables. You already know what is a fact and what are dimensions. Dimensions are entities which represent the records, and facts are entities that connect or that relates the dimensions. So in star schema, you will be having the fact table in the middle, which is connected to a set of dimension tables. Now, the fact table contains the keys to each dimension table and facts. The fact table contains two things. One is the keys to each dimension tables, and the second thing is the numerical measures, that is facts. Each dimension table consists of attributes. Okay, so in star schema, the major disadvantage is redundancy. Let's see how. See the example of star schema given here. You have the sales fact table in the middle, and you have four dimension tables. Which are the dimension tables here? One dimension table representing time, another dimension table representing item, another dimension table representing branch, and the fourth dimension table representing location, right? Now, what are the contents of the sales fact table? The sales fact table consists of keys to each of the dimension table. There is a time key which maps to the time dimension table. There is an item key which maps to the item dimension table. There is a branch key which maps to the branch dimension table. There is a location key that maps to the location dimension table. Apart from these keys, you have the facts or the numerical measures. So which are the facts or numerical measures here? Since it's a sales fact table, you have units sold, that is number of units of each item sold, dollars sold, that is amount obtained by the sales, and the average sales, right? So these are the three facts represented in this sales fact table. Now coming to the dimension table, each dimension table will have separate attributes. See the attributes of time dimension table. There is a time key which helps to relate to the sales fact table. Then apart from that, you have day, day of the week, month, quarter and year. So that is part of the time dimension table. Coming to the branch dimension table, obviously you have the branch key which helps to relate to the sales fact table. Apart from that, you have two attributes, branch name and branch type. Coming to the item dimension table, apart from the item key, you have other attributes like the name of the item, the brand, type and the supplier type. Coming to the location dimension table, you have the location key. Apart from that, you have multiple attributes like the street, city, state or province and country, which represents the location or which describes the location. If you have to tell a location, you have to mention street, city, state and country. Similarly, when you are defining a branch, you will have a branch name for the branch. There will be a type. Similarly, time. Time will have day, day of the week, a month, which quarter does it belong to, which year does it belong to. So each dimension table consists of multiple attributes which describe that particular dimension. So the fact table will have keys which relates to each of the dimension table as well as the numerical measures or the facts which relates all the dimension tables. And at the level of dimension table, you will have multiple attributes for each dimension describing that particular dimension. Okay. Now I had told in case of star schema, there is a chance of redundancy. So why this redundancy? Consider one example, location. Suppose my company has two branches, one in Bengaluru and another in Mysore. So city will be Bengaluru and Mysore. Okay. Now coming to the state, both Bengaluru and Mysore belongs to the same state, that is Karnataka. Right. Now in my dimension table, there will be two rows. One branch name belonging to city Bengaluru and the state will be Karnataka. For the second branch also, the city will be Mysore and the state will be redundant, again Karnataka. So in case of star schema, there are chances of repetitions or redundancies. I hope you understood. Now if you consider the higher level as well, country, both Bengaluru and Mysuru belongs to the same country, India. So in the table, there will be multiple entries for India. We can normalize this. You would have learned normalizations in data DBMS, right? So you can actually ideally normalize it, but in case of star schema, there is no normalization being applied. Okay, so that is a major disadvantage of star schema. So what is star schema? Star schema is similar to a structure of a star with the central fact table and dimension table as the radial lines, right? You have the fact table at the center and multiple dimension table which is related by the fact table. So fact table will consist of keys which connects it to the dimension table as well as the numerical measures or the facts. Each dimension table will have separate attributes describing that particular dimension. Now, in star schema, the major disadvantage is that it can lead to redundancy because each of the dimension table, it's not normalized. So that can lead to redundancy of the data or repetition of the data. Okay. Now, to avoid this disadvantage, we have the second schema that is called as snowflake schema. So, snowflake schema is a refinement of star schema where some dimensional hierarchy is normalized into a set of smaller dimension tables. The higher level dimension tables are split to smaller dimension table for the purpose of normalizing it to avoid redundancy. Okay. This forms a shape similar to a snowflake. What is the advantage of snowflake schema? It is easier to maintain. Also, it saves storage space. How does it save storage space? By reducing the repetitions. Okay. But the problem over here is that it reduces the effectiveness of browsing, as more joins may be needed to obtain the results of the queries. So we are splitting the tables. We are normalizing the tables. So when we pose a query, you may have to do join operations to get the result of the query, right? So that is the major disadvantage of snowflake schema. So though snowflake schema saves storage space, we usually resort to star schema itself because we want the operations to be done fastly. Okay, let's see the example of snowflake schema. The same example which we have seen for star schema, I have put it here. In the center, you have the sales fact table with keys as well as numerical measures called the facts. Again, you have the same set of dimension tables representing time, branch, item, and location. Each of the dimension table have their own attributes. Now you can see that the location and the item dimension table is further normalized, correct? If you see the previous figure, there the location dimension table has had the attributes like street, city, state, and country. But coming to this, here the location dimension table has only street and a city key. Okay, and the city details are maintained as a separate table. Okay, the location dimension table and the city table is connected using the city key. So in the city table, you have the city, state or province and the country. Okay, so this helps to avoid redundancy. So in the earlier example, I told, if suppose I have a branch in Bengaluru and Mysuru, I will be saving the state name, the same state name twice. Similarly, the same country name twice. To avoid that, what do I do here? My branch location, I will be denoting using a city key. Okay, say Bengaluru, Mysuru. Okay, now this city to the state and country mapping will be done in the city table. So in the city table, you can mention the city key and also the state to which it belongs to. So this helps to avoid repetitions or redundancy. Okay, so here basically the dimension table, some of the dimension tables are further normalized to avoid redundancy. Okay, so this is about snowflake schema. Snowflake schema is a refined version of star schema. In snowflake schema, you have the central fact table, you have the dimension tables as in the star schema. Only difference is that the dimension tables are further, few of the dimension tables are further normalized to avoid redundancy. Okay. Now coming to the third schema, that is fact constellations. So for more complicated data warehouses, you may be having more than one fact table. Multiple fact tables share dimension tables. So it is viewed as a collection of stars. So it is also called as galaxy schema or fact constellation. Okay, why it is called as galaxy schema? Because it looks like a collection of stars. So in the galaxy, you have a collection of stars. Similarly, in the fact constellation, you have a collection of star schemas, right? So that is also called as galaxy schema or fact constellation. Main feature here is that multiple fact tables share the same dimension tables. Okay, so it is mainly, this fact constellations are mainly used for enterprise warehouses. We will be using star schema or snowflake schema for data marts. You already know the difference between enterprise data warehouses and data marts, right? Enterprise data warehouses contains data spanning the entire organization. So when there is data spanning the entire organization, you will be having multiple fact table to be represented, right? When it comes to data marts, it's restricted to a particular subject. It's a subset of the enterprise data warehouse. So data marts are represented using either star schema or snowflake schema. More commonly, we will be using star schema. Let's see an example of a fact constellation. See here, you have two fact tables. Which are the two fact tables? Sales fact table is one, and the second is the shipping fact table. Okay. Now you can see that time, item, and location. These three dimension tables are shared by both the sales fact table and the shipping fact table. Can you see that? Sales fact table as well as the shipping fact table shares the dimension tables time, item, and location. Now branch is a dimension table specific to the sales fact table, and shipper is a dimension table specific to the shipping fact table. Okay, so this is an example of fact constellation. The fact tables are all similar. It will be having keys that connects it with the dimension table. It will be having numerical measures which represents the facts. Okay, dimension table, it's also similar. They will be having attributes which represent that particular dimensions. You can keep the dimension table either in a normalized form or without normalization as well. Okay, so this is about fact constellation. So we are done with the three schemas. Star schema, which looks like a star with a central fact table and many dimension table which is connected to the fact table. Now the problem over here is redundancy. Now to overcome this problem, we have the snowflake schema where the dimension tables are further normalized. Coming to the fact constellation, it is mainly used for more complicated data warehouses, usually for enterprise data warehouse, which spans through the entire organization, which can have multiple fact tables. Okay, for data marts and all, we will be using either the star schema or the snowflake schema. In fact constellation, you will be having multiple fact tables, and the dimension tables can be shared among the fact tables. Okay, so this is about the three schemas. Now the next topic is concept hierarchy. So what is a concept hierarchy? Concept hierarchy is a sequence of mapping from a set of lower level concept to higher level, more general concept. Okay, so it's a sequence of mapping from a set of lower level concepts to higher level concept. So we will be defining concept hierarchies for dimensions. For example, if you have a dimension location, the lower level concept for location can be city. Okay, higher level or the generalized concept can be the country to which the city belongs to, right? So this is an example for concept hierarchy, which is implicit, which is implicitly defined in the schema itself. Now some hierarchies can be formed by grouping. Okay, for example, if suppose I have price as a dimension. Okay, I want to store the price of different items. I can either store the price of each item individually, say 10 rupees, 15 rupees, 100 rupees, etc. Or else I can group these values as inexpensive, moderately expensive, highly expensive, right? I repeat this example once again. If suppose I have a dimension as price of an item, either I can model price as price of each individual item, say 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 1000 rupees, 5000 rupees. Okay, like that I can have individual price for each item, or else I can group the price dimension as inexpensive, mildly expensive, and highly expensive, right? So this is a concept hierarchy. At a lower level concept, I can define the price of each item, or I can define the price of item as a general concept like expensive and not expensive, right? So that is a mapping from a set of lower level concept to higher level, more general concept. So this is called as concept hierarchy. I have shown one example with a figure here. We have told dimension for the dimension location can be defined in a concept hierarchy like this. At the lower level, you can have your branch of the office. The branch of the office belongs to a particular city. The city belongs to a particular country. The country belongs to a particular region, and the region belongs to all the regions or the whole world, right? So this is forming a hierarchy. Such a hierarchy is implicitly defined in the schema itself. It is implicitly defined. We need not artificially define it. When I tell location, you can imagine how the location can be defined. Either it can be defined in terms of a region, or else you can define in terms of a country, or else you can define in terms of a city, or else you can define in terms of a office, right? So you can define in any level of the hierarchy. You can either define it very low level of hierarchy or as a more generalized version. So that is concept hierarchy, and this example is implicit in the schema itself. Another example which I have told regarding the price, that is not implicit in the schema. Instead, we are grouping it. Using grouping concept, we are trying to define the concept hierarchy as expensive, inexpensive, or highly expensive, moderately expensive, inexpensive, or else specify the actual price or specific price of each item. So you can have, you can define at any level of the concept hierarchy. So this is about concept hierarchy. So what is concept hierarchy? It's just a mapping from a set of lower level concept to higher level, more general concept. Either it is implicitly defined in the schema itself, for example, location, or some hierarchies can be formed by grouping as well. I told one example for that as well. Okay. So in today's session, we have seen about 3 types of schemas: star schema, snowflake schema, and fact constellation. Star schema looks like a star structure. You have the central fact table and you have multiple dimension table which is connected to the central fact table. In case of snowflake schema, you have a more normalized version of the star schema. More refined version of the star schema is the snowflake schema. There also you have the central fact table as well as the dimension tables, but the dimension tables are normalized. Okay, this is to avoid redundancy. But though we try to avoid redundancy in case of a snowflake schema, we always opt for star schema. Why? Because when it comes to querying, it is fastly accessible using a star schema, because the star schema need not do join operations, right? Now coming to concept hierarchy, it's just a sequence of mapping from a set of lower level concept to higher level concept. That's all for today. Thank you.